In this module, we will review the polarity of water, some properties of water, pH, the properties of acids and bases, and buffers. Water has the chemical formula H2O. It consists of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Water is an example of a polar molecule. The atoms in a water molecule are held together by polar covalent bonds. These bonds give the oxygen in water a slight negative charge, shown with the Greek letter delta and a negative sign. Each hydrogen atom is left with a slight positive charge, shown with the Greek letter delta and a positive sign. The 2 hydrogen atoms are attached to the oxygen at an angle. Polar molecules like water can form another kind of bond called a hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bonds are caused by the attraction between slight positive and slight negative charges. These attractions are fairly weak. However, many hydrogen bonds together can be very strong. This diagram shows the hydrogen bonds that form between different water molecules. The hydrogen bonds themselves are drawn as dotted lines. Water is an essential component in chemical reactions that build or break down biological molecules, such as large carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acids. Here, we will discuss 3 other special properties of water. These properties are due to water's polarity and its capability to form hydrogen bonds. First, water molecules are cohesive and adhesive. Second, water has a high heat capacity. And third, water is an excellent solvent. Water molecules are cohesive. This means that they are attracted to each other. The hydrogen bonds that they form hold them together. This cohesion of water molecules is exhibited by the surface tension of liquid water. The hydrogen bonding allows the water to form a skin at the surface of the liquid. Water molecules are adhesive. The polarity of water allows it to form bonds with other charged molecules. Liquid water will creep along a dry paper towel by capillary action. This is due to the attraction between the polar water molecules and the charged molecules that are part of the paper towel. Hydrogen bonding is also responsible for water's high heat capacity. This means that the temperature of water is slow to raise or to lower. You experience this every time you put a pot of water on the stove. It takes a great deal of heat to cause that water to boil. Because of water's high heat capacity, oceans stay within a certain normal temperature range. As described in a previous module, a solution consists of 2 components, a solute and a solvent. Water is an excellent solvent. Its slight charges allow it to interact with anything else that has a charge, such as an ion or a polar molecule. Therefore, polar molecules, ones that are able to interact with water, are said to be water-soluble or hydrophilic. When table salt is added to water, it will dissociate or break apart to form ions. Recall that a molecule of table salt is held together by an ionic bond. The positively charged sodium is attracted to the negatively charged chloride ion. Water molecules are also attracted to these 2 ions, so much so that they will be surrounded by water molecules and separated from each other. Non-polar molecules lack charges, either slight or full-on charges, which does not allow them to interact with water. Thus, they are water insoluble or hydrophobic. An aqueous solution is a solution where water is acting as the solvent. Here are some other examples of ionic compounds, molecules that are held together by ionic bonds, and how they dissociate when they are in water. Again, the water molecules are disrupting the ionic bonds, separating the ions from each other. Notice that some of these ions are composed of more than one atom. Ionic compounds dissociate to form a mixture of cations and anions. A cation is a positively charged ion. An anion is a negatively charged one. Water molecules are also capable of dissociation. In liquid water, a very small minority of water molecules will dissociate to form ions. Essentially, water molecules collide so that one of them loses a hydrogen to the other one. The molecule that lost the hydrogen becomes a hydroxide ion. The water molecule that gains the hydrogen becomes a hydronium ion. This dissociation is often simplified so that the hydronium ion is shown as a hydrogen ion for short, which is sometimes called a proton. For any aqueous solution, we can measure the relative concentration of hydrogen ions in that solution. This measurement is called the pH of the solution. From now on, we will use square brackets to mean the concentration of. The pH of a solution is expressed as a unitless number that ranges between 0 and 14. A pH of 7 is a neutral pH. An acid is a solution with a pH that is less than 7. The lower the pH, the higher the acidity. A base is a solution with a pH that is greater than 7. Solutions that are more basic or alkaline have pHs closer to 14. Remember that the pH of a solution is a measurement of its hydrogen ion concentration. It is an inverse relationship. The higher a solution's hydrogen ion concentration, the lower its pH value. Conversely, the lower the hydrogen ion concentration, the higher the pH. This means that a solution that has a pH of 2 will have a higher hydrogen ion concentration than a solution with a pH of 6. You could also say that the solution with the pH of 2 is more acidic than the other solution with a pH of 6. If the hydrogen ion concentration of a solution is known, the pH can be calculated by taking the negative logarithm of this concentration. Notice that these hydrogen ion concentrations are usually expressed in units of molarity. Using this formula, a solution with a hydrogen ion concentration of 1 times 10 to the minus 8 molar would have a pH of 8. The logarithm in the equation isolates the exponent of 10, which is negative 8. The negative sign in the equation converts this exponent to a positive value. As previously discussed, an acid is a solution with a pH less than 7 and a higher hydrogen ion concentration. A base has a pH greater than 7 and a lower hydrogen ion concentration. Let's take these definitions one step further. The Bronsted-Lowry definition of an acid is that it is a hydrogen ion or proton donor. The definition of a base is that it is a hydrogen ion or proton acceptor. In the chemical reaction that is shown, hydrochloric acid, or HCl, releases or donates hydrogen ions. It is an acid. Ammonia, or NH3, accepts hydrogen ions, so it is a base. Neutralization reactions mix an acid with a base to essentially cancel out their extreme pHs. These reactions produce a salt and water. For example, mixing hydrochloric acid, which is a strong acid, and sodium hydroxide, which is a strong base, results in the production of sodium chloride, table salt, and water. Antacids contain bases like sodium bicarbonate, which neutralize stomach acids. A buffer is a solution that is a mixture of two components: a weak acid, which slowly releases hydrogen ions or protons, and a weak base, which acts as a hydrogen ion acceptor. If a base is added to a solution, the weak acid that is part of the buffer releases hydrogen ions to lower the pH. If an acid is added to the same solution, the weak base that is part of the buffer will accept the extra hydrogen ions to raise the pH. Thus, the purpose of a buffer is to help a solution resist changes in its pH. Here's an example. The pH of your blood must remain within a very narrow normal range. However, the carbon dioxide that's released by your cells is constantly increasing the pH of the blood. Nutrients and lactic acid can make the blood more acidic. Human blood contains a buffer that consists of a mixture of carbonic acid and bicarbonate. If the blood becomes too acidic, the excess hydrogen ions will be absorbed by the bicarbonate in the buffer. If the pH becomes too basic or alkaline, then hydrogen ions will be released by the carbonic acid.